So one of the ways of making your copy way more interesting is to include stories from your personal life, from aspects of your life outside of your profession, especially if they're sort of unique and interesting, and not something that maybe your mainstream readers might participate in. So, for instance, one of the things that I love to do is surf, and here I am living the dream that is surfing in Maine, especially in the winter. This is actually from this past January. I've been surfing for over 20 years, but the truth is I'm a pretty mediocre surfer, or at least I was up until last year. And I actually was experiencing that old saying when they say you don't have 20 years of experience in X. Like you don't have 20 years of experience as a manager. You really have 1 year experience 20 times over. And that saying, speaking to a person who really hasn't grown in that particular area. They just keep repeating the same practices and using the same strategies and methodologies that they did when they first learned whatever that task or skill was. And that's pretty much how I was as a surfer. I never had a surfer mentor, or never went to surf camp or got any kind of lessons. So just sort of learned on my own. And that's how it was until about a year ago. My next door neighbor took up surfing, and he devoured all kinds of YouTube surfing videos, etc., and started sharing what he was learning with me. And then I started watching some of the videos. But I had this breakthrough moment a while back, earlier this year, where he was talking about one of the lessons he was going through was how to place your arms in a position that allows you to flex your hips. And flexing your hips is a way, moving your hips back and forth is a way to carve on the wave. So you catch a wave in a much more enjoyable way, and also work the wave. And it's just way more effective surfing and way more fun. And so he mentioned that to me, and then he said, I noticed that you put your arms on the front side of the board, the side facing the wave that you're surfing, and they say that prevents you from like swiveling your hips and carving on the wave. So what you're supposed to do is have one arm on one side and one on the other. And I had no awareness that I was doing this because I was just doing my thing. And it's a great example of unconscious incompetence, or having a blind spot because we don't know what we don't know. Well, when I started practicing becoming more mindful of putting my arms in the right position, it was a total game changer. I was able to carve on the waves and maneuver, just like you see in the videos. Well, not quite as good as the pros, but just in a really cool way. And it totally dialed up not only my skill level in surfing, but my enjoyment level. And then a few other bits of feedback in terms of foot position, etc., again, contributed to really a quantum leap in surfing ability this past year. And so, as I always do, because I'm always thinking in terms of stories and analogies, I found myself thinking, what is this an analogy for related to the work that I do? And I thought, man, what a perfect example, since a lot of the work that I do is in leadership development and coaching. What a great example of the difference getting feedback can make and getting coaching can make. Because again, we all have areas of unconscious incompetence. We all have blind spots. And by definition, we don't know that we're doing things that are ineffective. And so when managers end up getting feedback on the practices, the communication styles, etc., that they engage in that are preventing them from getting the results they want, they can dramatically improve their ability to bring out the best in people. And also, when a manager or a leader might say, hey, I've been doing this for 25 years now, I know all about leadership. Well, actually, most of them don't. I would dare say that most of them have simply repeated the moderately or even not so effective practices they used early in their career. So they've had 1 year of experience and development just repeated over the last 25 years. So that's an example of taking some fun little experience from my personal life and one of my avocations, one of my hobbies, and translating it into a teaching story that I can use. And it's also an example of a pain and promise story in the sense of I didn't really play up the pain part. I could, if I wanted to make it more of a pain story, I could play up more about the frustration of not being able to catch the waves in the way I want to, etc. So kind of play up the hassle or the aggravation side of it, and then talk about how much better I can surf and how much more enjoyable it is. So that would be more of a pain and promise story. And I could use that, and I will be using that, to talk with people about the benefits of executive coaching. So again, using something from your personal life that shares a little bit more about who you are as a person, and especially if you have some sort of idiosyncratic hobbies or experiences that can make you more fascinating and not just same old beige person talking about case studies in your particular field. So there you have it.